what it do? It's your boy J Lou. You guys are just in time for another video. In this video, what I want to cover are the importance, or the benefits I should say, of cutting low or scalping. Alright, so as you all watched when I cut my hair and explained the reason why I cut my hair, people tend to ask, is it easier for me to scalp or to shift my waves? I refer to scalping as cutting your existing pattern out, you know, so you don't, some people think that you have to go bald. They say that's the only true scalp. Man, forget all that. As long as you cut your existing pattern out, that's considered a scalp to me. But the other method that people tend to refer to is called shifting. That means if I was to leave my 360 waves in my head and then just start brushing my hair, like if I wanted to go to 540s, then I start brushing my hair for 540s, you know. So I personally believe that would take a longer time, you know. It'll be a lot more frustrating simply because you'll go through this phase to where your waves look ugly, you really don't like your progress, you really don't like how everything is looking, and it's just like, it's kind of stupid to me because at the end of the day, when you shift, you have to create forks, you know. So opposed to the opposite, if you scalp or cut low, then what you'll do is you'll cut your existing pattern out and you'll have to start all over. You know, I feel like that's a lot better. And the reason why I feel that's a lot better is because it teaches you way more about your hair than shifting. Now, if I would have never cut my hair low, I would have never learned so much stuff about how my hair grows. Now, these next pictures I'm about to show you guys are pictures of when I cut my hair very, very low. It's the same day. You know, I wanted to do it just so I could see the direction that my hair grows in, because at the end of the day, I was cutting my sides thinking I was cutting with the grain, and I kept wondering, I was like, why are my sides coming out lower than everything else? You know, like, I'm not messing them up, I'm using a high guard, I'm cutting with a 3, and it's still looking like I cut with a 1.5, you know. So I'm gonna post these pictures up and explain a little bit further.
Alright, so check it out. This pic is when I cut my hair 0 against the grain, like I mentioned. One thing that you'll notice first off is my hair starts to grow from the crown towards my hairline, or towards my temple area, and the closer it gets towards my hairline, you'll notice that instead of going in the direction that I'm trying to train my hair or brush my hair, you can follow from the top portion of my temple, and even on through behind my ear and everything like that, my hair grows downward. No matter how much I brush my hair in the direction that I want my pattern to go in, at the base of it, this is how my hair grows. You know, so this is something that you need to understand, especially when it comes to cutting your hair. For people that have medium or fine texture hair, this can be a possible issue when you cut your hair, simply because we have looser curls, we have a little bit looser pattern. Somebody with coarse hair may not have this same issue, but people with medium texture or fine texture hair will probably see this. When you cut your edges, they just kind of vanish, you know what I'm saying? So as you all can see, this is the right side of my head. It looks the exact same as the left when it comes to the way my hair grows in. But one thing I'm going to point out with this picture is that if you think you're cutting your hair with the grain, which means in the flow of your pattern or the direction that you brush, it's easier to see why your sides will come out lower. Basically, the temple area of our hair, it grows in slower and it grows in a lot thinner than the rest of our head, you know. But if you're cutting perpendicular to the way that your hair grows, that's still considered cutting against the grain. Like when I thought I was cutting a 3 with the grain and my hairline looked like I cut a 1.5, that's the reason why it came out that way. You know, it's just something to keep in mind. And when you cut your hair low, it's very good to take pictures like this because they can serve as a diagram if you choose to cut your hair in the future. Alright, so taking a look at this picture, this is my top, you know what I'm saying? Basically, my hair starting off from my crown area, you can kind of see that little bald spot looking area in the back. My hair grows away from my crown. The closer my hair gets to my hairline, it'll go in different directions just depending on which side that it's going to. Another thing I should point out, in the front, I have a cowlick, and you'll see at the very, very front, it just means that your hair doesn't grow in the same direction as the rest of your head. This portion of your head is harder to wave up, but it's not impossible. I've already had the top of my hair waved up, you know, especially the cowlick area, but this is just something that you have to recognize that you have to put in a lot more work into to get waves. Alright, so in the world of waves, this is what we call the money shot. This is a picture of my crown area, and basically what the crown is whenever you cut your hair low or scalp, it's easier to find it because all you have to do is look for the portion of your hair that naturally swirls in any direction. So as you can see with me, my crown, my natural crown is directly in the center. Previously, I thought I forced it, you know, but when I first started waving, I didn't know anything about a crown, so I wasn't looking for it. But now that I do know, one thing I want to point out is because it's in the center, this is the ideal location to be able to choose any pattern that I want. Whether if I was to go 360 swirl, 540s, or 720s, or whatever the case is, this is exactly where I want my crown because it'll look the way it needs to be. Typically, if you have a crown that's off-centered to the left or right, if you choose to go beehive or swirl or whatever the case is, it kind of makes your pattern look off-center. You have to, like, with your angles, it'll be harder to determine your angles. But for me, because it's in the center, it'll be a lot easier. All I have to do is just brush my hair the way that I want to, and my waves won't look off-center. But yeah, my crown, it went through a lot of just up and down, me trying to figure out what kind of pattern I wanted because I didn't know exactly where my crown was. That's the reason why it looked so different. This is a pic when my hair was just trained the best way I could. As you can still see, my hair goes, my waves go all the way to the hairline. And as you zoom in, one thing I'm going to point out is the fact that my hair still goes downwards. No matter how trained it is, it still goes in the downward direction just simply because that's how my hair grows. So you can just understand now, if you haven't already, whenever I thought I was cutting with the flow of my pattern, which in my mind was with the grain, it clearly shows why my sides were coming out lower, because I was cutting perpendicular to the way that my hair grows, which equals cutting against the grain.
But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all watching this video. You know, I've never, ever seen somebody talk about this subject. A lot of people tend to say, man, I don't know why when I cut my sides, they just go lower than what they're supposed to. Well, now you guys know. Like I said, in a few weeks, I'm gonna show you guys the reason. I'm gonna try to provide more concrete evidence when my hair grows in and do some cuts or whatever the case is. But yeah, nobody's ever talked about this subject. So if you hear anybody else say it, you know they watch your boy J. Lou video. One of the things that I really wanted to be able to highlight on, if you're debating about scalping or if you don't really know kind of how to cut your hair, this video is more so for people that do self cuts. You can't go to the barber and try to tell them, oh, on this side cut this way, and then when you get to the sides, cut down. Barber they ain't trying to hear all that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know what I'm saying? Now if you got a good barber that is willing to do that, you may have to come off some extra change. But if they're willing to do that, take advantage of it. But this video is more so for people that cut their own hair. If you want to have way better waves, you want to maintain your progress on the sides, like I said, follow me on this journey. It's going to be crazy. My waves going to come in way better than before. I'm going to keep dropping tips. I'm going to keep dropping these videos to help the game. At the end of the day, it's your boy J. Lou, WTBD representative. Just want to give a shout out to my crew. Appreciate everybody that's been rocking with your boy. I appreciate everybody that's been checking in and subscribing. You know, I've been seeing every single thing. So I appreciate that. Pretty soon, it's not a I will have to do a giveaway. You know, I got to give back to the game, not only with the knowledge that nobody else is dropping, but also with stuff that'll help you guys take better care of your hair. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what works for my head. It's about what works for your head. Your head. But yeah, it's your boy J. Lou. Salute.